Good morning. Sunday morning.
Good morning. It feels like every morning or every show, there's something crazier than the last one. Jamaal Bowman, I'm not going to use allegedly. If you have a problem, he can come at me. A band like him probably would try to sue. I at you on Twitter, holler at me. This ban, Jamaal Bowman, if you did not hear what happened yesterday, I think it happened while I was going live. I'm always late on these things because I'm like hours behind. He pulled a fire alarm to provide cover, basically to provide time for his masters. If you think that I went hard on these black people before, you have not seen anything yet. Jamaal, I'll give you the context if you haven't heard about it, what it means, the ramifications of it. So yesterday was chaotic with the deadline to fund the government. And to my knowledge, I'm still trying to unpack it. To my knowledge, Kevin McCarthy came out and said, we're probably going to have a shutdown. And that's why me, Ray, everybody we're just like, okay, how is this shutdown going to go? Because Kevin McCarthy he's a male Nancy Pelosi, but he's just not as good. He's good. Don't get me wrong. Nancy Pelosi's like a legend, like political legend, one of the greatest of all time. Nancy Pelosi, manipulator. We have the quote from the wrap-up smear. She's just so casually savage, and she's got titties for days. Kevin McCarthy's like the JV version of that. Same party, same thing. They just kind of use red and blue bandanas, but they're the same organization. So Kevin McCarthy pulled a fast one. A real nice one. These aren't people to play with. So he came out and said, and he fooled them in DC, much less me and you who are so far removed, we don't know what the hell's going on. TNT cycles PDX. Democrats have no morals, no rules, and no self-respect. That's why I'm coming with Jamaal Bowman. And Jamaal Bowman is the one that talks about the black stuff. So you want to talk about the black stuff, we'll get to the black stuff. You black buffoon. So what happened is Kevin McCarthy started the day saying we're not going to do a continuing resolution. And this is my understanding. I got to unpack this. Correct me if anything's wrong. The basic understanding that I have, Kevin McCarthy started the day saying we're not going to do a continuing resolution. That was a play. They're playing poker. And he's kind of at the table. He's like, oh, God, I got a terrible hand. And he knew he was working something out. So 2 hours later in the day, Kevin McCarthy says, we're going to bring something to vote. And everybody's like, wait a second. I thought you just said that it wasn't going anywhere. So I don't know what happened, whose master told who what. But it sounded like the Democrat side, even though they're on the same team, I don't know what the deal is going on. Something happened. You can be on the same team in communication or you need time. Because even though they're on the same team, it's not like Kevin McCarthy trusts Nancy Pelosi or vice versa. They smile at each other and then they're really friends, but they don't really, these people know that if they could get away with it and not get caught, they would off each other if that meant one more vote. So they don't trust each other because they know each other. They know how savage each other are. So McCarthy says, I got it. 2 hours after he said he wasn't going to do it. So everybody's scrambling to figure out, they got to read the bill. It's not the people in Congress that got to read they don't read the bills. Jamaal Bowman's not reading the bill. I can guarantee you that. The staffers might. But it's really the masters that need to look and say, okay, is this the right bill? Because they're all backstabbers. They could sneak something in the bill. I think right now they've got to be using AI. I don't know how they use the bill. I don't know if they're allowed to have it digital. But for me, you got to be using I don't know how long this continuing resolution was. I didn't even look at it. But yeah, I would still use AI to kind of parse through it after I read it. So they need time to look at it to make sure No one's trying to pull a fast one on each other. So what happened? What happened is Jamaal Bowman, this is not allegedly, this is a fact. He admitted to it. Jamaal Bowman pulled the fire alarm. He literally pulled the fire alarm. When I say he pulled the fire alarm, I mean he pulled the fire alarm. It wasn't, I mean, this is not an exaggeration. This is not a speculative thing. One of the craziest things we've ever seen, and we're saying that every day. That is not hyperbole. It's one of the craziest things we've ever seen. Good morning.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Here's what it sounded like when I found out later, but when everyone found out. And so it begs the question, if you're just listening, it's the halls of Congress, and it begs to question, what the hell is going on with black people and fire alarms? Honestly, I don't know if it's people editing. This is obviously real life, but what's going on with black people and fire alarms is the overarching theme. And Stephen Ignoramus and I, believe it or not, we had a conversation about it. Like, what's going on with black people and fire alarms, really?
Stop it.
No, you stop it.
Don't say that, right? You guys need to stop it, okay?
Actually, she was based in her conversation here, but this is another example of this mysterious fire alarm epidemic that it seems to be taking over Jamaal Bowman in Congress.
Don't say that, right? You guys need to stop it. Okay? I don't know. I think Alex Jones was right about the whole...
I don't know what's going on with my... I think that was a fire. I'm sorry. Let me bring it back.
Ain't nobody say anything, because you can't say nothing bad about a Muslim or a black...
Yo, my man, are you putting that in there?
No, I did not. No, I did not put that in there. I did not put that in there.
You guys are okay with it. Your woman's
What's that?
I was just saying, because we talked about this off air. I don't think any of these are doctored, man. I just think this is like a epidemic in the black community, like where they just can't, they don't know how to change the batteries. They don't, I don't know what it is, but it is crazy. It is, multiplying like AIDS, dude. This shirt epidemic, dude.
Don't say that, right? You guys.
And it's even affecting the house. Jamaal Bowman pulled the fire alarm because his masters needed more time. That's what happened. I'm not a legend. His statement is one of the most asinine statements I've ever seen in my life. He's claiming that he accidentally pulled the fire alarm. These people are so low on the totem pole. Jamaal Bowman couldn't even get a staffer to do it. So what happens is they probably go back and say, hey, we need more time. Who's the dumbest black person that we have here? Cori Bush must have been in the bathroom or something. And then they go to Jamaal Bowman and they say, Jamaal Bowman, somebody through layers of 6 degrees of separation, or these people know what needs to be done. They don't even need to be told. They just jump in front of the bullet, figuratively. Oh, they would literally do it too. And Jamaal Bowman's like, damn, I'm hearing that we need more time. Get one of my staffers, hey, could you guys go pull that fire alarm? And they'd be like, nah, I'm good. His old staffers be like, nah, that's not for me. He couldn't even get a staffer to do it. Nancy Pelosi would be so far removed from that, she would have been laughing. It would have been the cousin, it would have been the second cousin, friend of the boyfriend's person who was homeless, who broke into the Capitol. Nancy Pelosi would have got that nigga to do it and then would have prosecuted him. Or, they don't judicial, but would have hemmed them up. But for the black imams, they just do it for free. They just put their life on the line, their freedom on the line. And Hakeem Jeffries was like, I don't know that nigga. They asked him in the press conference. He's like, I haven't seen the video. I don't know that nigga. That quickly. I hope it was worth it, Jay. I don't know how you sleep at night, bro. What do they got on you? I mean, whatever they have on you, it can't be worth it. I'd be like, just bring it out. I mean, what is it? Is it Cawthorn? Like jumping on the bed, humping on a dude bad? I mean, I don't care how bad it is. Go ahead and release the video. I'll put it on TikTok myself. I'm not pulling the fire alarm for you. That's just not going to happen. To give you what, a couple more minutes? They just playing with you, Jay. They just want, at this point, the elitists in, that are running all this stuff, they probably like, we already know what's in the bill. Let's see what these black people are willing to, these black members of Congress are willing to do with us. What do you got on? Okay, Cori Bush, she's already down. She's got Ayanna Pressley, she's bald and black. She's good. We don't need to worry about her. AOC, she's bitch made. We got her. What about Jamaal Bowman? Do we got him? Let's test him out. Tell him to pull the fire alarm. 5 minutes later, Jamaal Bowman's pulling the fire alarm. I better not hear anything about a raccoon from any of y'all. I don't. I'm falling down right now. Don't do that. That's the story of yesterday. Is this person going to the fire alarm to pull it? I think it was an IQ test, Jamaal, and you failed. They just wanted to see how stupid you were. It was kind of like the pandemic. I failed the pandemic, so I'm not going to be, who's stupid enough to put a mask on their 2-year-old? Pass or fail. That's all that class is. It's a pass or fail exam. There's no C, there's no B. Either you're smart or you're stupid. And that's what happened with Jamaal Bowman. One of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. On video. He's caught on video. It's not even alleged. He's right there on video. Marjorie Taylor Greene was beside herself. The workout queen. I don't know. Marjorie Taylor Greene might get me in an arm wrestling contest. Back in the day, she the arm wrestle in school. Marjorie Taylor Greene might get me. She's no joke.
No, I want to talk about Jamaal Bowman pulling the fire alarm. Capitol Police are questioning him right now because it's on video. That he violated the exact same law that January 6th defendants are being prosecuted for every single day. He violated the exact same law, interrupting an official proceeding, and by pulling a fire alarm. It's on video, and the Capitol Police have the information.
Did you see?
This is outrageous. They have it on video.
Have you seen the video?
She's completely beside herself. Like, I think this is an authentic reaction. She's like, she's almost speechless. She's like, what the hell? Could you imagine if Marjorie Taylor Greene pulled, who I have had some distance from? It's crazy how far she's fallen from that AFPAC. Was it 3, whatever, the last AFPAC, where the amazing speech, she got the love, and then now it's almost like she's persona non grata, but she's beside herself at this. Could you imagine if she pulled the fire alarm, what would be happening right now? She'd probably be in a jail cell right now.
And by pulling a fire alarm, it's on video, and the Capitol Police have the information.
Did you see?
This is outrageous. They have it on video.
Have you seen the video?
You know how sometimes something is so shocking that your reaction isn't shocking? Because you're stunned. I mean, that's what this comes across to me as. She's looking around like this. Do we see what happened? Like, what's going on?
Exact same law, interrupting an official proceeding. And
this is the exact same law they tried to hem people up, regular citizens up, for J6.
Are being prosecuted for every single day. He violated the exact same law, interrupting an official proceeding. And by pulling a fire alarm, it's on video, and the Capitol Police have the information.
Did you see?
This is outrageous. They have it on video.
Have you seen the video?
I haven't seen the video yet, but I'm going to be demanding it. I'm demanding that the Department of Justice prosecute him the same way they prosecuted January 6th defendants. It's the exact same law. Exact same law. This is outrageous. He's a Democrat representative. Here's what happened. Catherine Clark, the whip, called the motion to adjourn, and then within, I don't know, a few minutes, it was literally right after that, Jamaal Bowman pulls a fire alarm while the vote was happening. You guys, this is unprecedented. The Democrats will do anything to make sure it's shut down because billions of dollars are not going to their favorite country, Ukraine. I mean, you guys really, so Olivia.
On that part, can somebody clarify that for me? Because in the continuing, so what's happened is they've passed this continuing resolution. And I think that's the only way it's going to happen until they root out. I think they're going to try and root out all of the MAGA members. We are in an era right now. This is civil war. Just no guns. Civil war. Imagine 1860 with no guns and, no guns and relatively few physical interactions. So just take a second. Go back to 1860, the same type of tension, even worse divide, because we don't agree on what a man or a woman is. It's a much bigger divide. But just take away the guns, take away the weapons. No physical confrontation. What would that look like? That's where we're on now. People are tired of Tim Pool talking about civil war. I'm tired of living it. I don't know why. How can you be tired of Tim Pool talking about it when we are living in it? I don't know. But yeah, take a break, whatever. But I actually don't think he talks about it enough. I actually don't think he goes hard enough. I'm not advocating for it. I'm talking about what we're living in right now. History is going to look back and say, what were y'all doing? So Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, well, they just arrested regular citizens for the same thing. People who didn't even go in the Capitol. Same exact charge. And he pulls the fire alarm. And she's looking around like, does anybody see this? Like, are we going to do anything? Or it's like, what is happening? That's what she's looking around, looking for help. Like I know you know.
Beavers has tweeted it. This is the law. This is the law. Otherwise obstructs, influences, or impedes any official proceeding or attempts to do so shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. This is the law. The January 6th defendants are being locked up, they're rotting in jail, and they're being prosecuted every single day. Non-violent offenders are being put in
non-violent pretrial detention.
Jail for this.
You took a video over there. Did you happen to catch like a part of it, or I saw you posted a video on Twitter? Did you catch a part of it?
Look, it's being reported everywhere.
Yeah,
Go ask the Capitol Police.
Are you a reporter or what? It's like everywhere. What are you asking me about the video for? Shouldn't you have done some research?
About it.
He admitted. I don't know if he admitted it at this point, but he had already admitted he did it. I believe he's a former school principal. He's a former school principal who said, I pulled a red button that says, that's what I think it is. I don't know if I think it's the red thing that we all know nobody pulls. If that's what it is, I mean, for him to say he didn't know, he's like, this is a door I don't usually go to.
I'm demanding the video. House admin has already reported it. They have seen the video. It's just unbelievable. He's a representative breaking the law.
This is where we are. Jamaal Bowman in his statement said something to the effect of, this door is usually open for votes. And I was rushing. That doesn't make, none of it makes any sense. He wasn't rushing to do anything. They were trying to delay. They weren't rushing to vote. That's not what the situation was. If you don't know who Jamaal Bowman is, I don't think I even showed his face on this live yet. This is the last time we talked about him on this channel, we've talked about him quite a few times, but it was when he tried to talk to Thomas Massey and he was just completely unhinged.
Allows teachers to carry.
Carry guns?
Would you
More guns lead
co-sponsor?
to more death.
Would you co-sponsor?
More
that bill?
guns lead to more death.
Would you co-sponsor?
Look at
that
the
bill?
data. You're not looking at any data.
The
You're
data.
carrying
data.
the water for the gun lobby.
No.
Look at the data. More guns lead to more deaths. States that have open carry laws have more death.
In every school
States
that allows
that
carry,
have open
there's
carry
never been a
laws
shooting.
have.
So let's recap what these the self-described black everything, they don't say anything in any hearing without saying the word marginalized or black. There's nothing. It doesn't matter what the hearing is about, what the discussion is about. Every single time, mark that. Every single time it's a marginalized community, it's a black community, it's the gay community, it's the trans. Every single time, it's just. I mean, at this point, it's just. I can't take it anymore. So what is he passionate about? Pulling the fire alarm to give his masters more time or to do the bidding of his masters and taking away your guns. That's what he's passionate about. And money to Ukraine. This is supposed to be the populist left. And that's why I tell MAGA, you better, I try to social, whatever that means. It's just, it's a vague, what is it, like Antifa? What is MAGA? I don't know. It's a vague term. But MAGA better be careful. That's what you become. If you don't make sure that they recognize that they work for you. He's a populist left member of the squad. And he's the biggest not deep state, but he's not even close to deep state. Clown state. He's the biggest clown state actor out there. Supposed to be the populist left. Supposed to be on the same side, like base people we talked about, Fiorello, Isabel from Convo House, Craig Pasta, Jimmy Dore, Kim Iverson, Nico House, Nick from RBN, Sabby Sabs, all of them. Ryan Knight, all the guys or people on the populist left, Jen and Peter, all the people on the populist left I respect. He's supposed to be aligned with them.
Look at the data. More guns lead to more deaths. States that have open carry laws have more deaths. In every school, states that have open carry laws.
He's being loud because he doesn't want a true discussion. He knows that Thomas Massey would destroy him in any type of fair back and forth. Take a look at the comments and see. I'll break it down a little bit more. What I know, but that's what I know is that, so they passed it. My question on the Ukraine was, if anybody knows in the comments, to my knowledge, the continuing resolution had no money for Ukraine, which you would think is a win. But I heard that McCarthy made a deal, a back deal. I don't even know how that works. I thought it had to be I don't know what's going on, but it sounds like, and this is a clip from Matt Gaetz, so I don't fully understand what's going on here. Let me play the clip. Matt Gaetz was on this morning. Was it this morning? I don't know when it was. With Jake Tapper. I don't even know if Jake Tapper doesn't do a morning show, does he? But let's talk about this before I go to the comments. So maybe somebody, by the time I get to the comments, somebody will get an answer for me. So this is Matt Gaetz on with Jake Tapper, and let's listen. It's 3 minutes. I think we should listen to this whole thing.
You have been threatening to topple McCarthy, issue a motion to vacate the speakership if he worked with Democrats to fund the government with a clean CR, a clean government spending bill, which is exactly what he did on Friday and Saturday. The House gas.
So when they say clean, what they mean is it's exact. They're funding the government exactly the way it's been funded, and just for another 47, 45, whatever days on. I don't know how that number gets chosen. It's always 45. Is that the max? I don't know. But to my knowledge, there is nothing stopping them other than political pressure and pressure from the deep state to fund it for a longer period of time. There's nothing stopping them from doing 45 days, and they could just do that indefinitely. The only downside is that imagine if you didn't know how much money you're going to have in 45 days. You wouldn't be able to budget. So that's the only downside. But they can all talk. I mean, like, oh, yeah, we'll just do another 45. Don't worry about it. So I think we're in the era now where it's going to be 45 until they root out all of the MAGA, which I think they're trying to do. They're trying to root them out. There is an investigation against the ethics investigation against Matt Gaetz right now. What do you do with the ethics investigation? You can do censor. But what I think they're trying to do is expel him. They need 290 votes, to my knowledge, to kick him out of Congress, Matt Gaetz. And I think that's let me just play this. Let me play it and then I'll get into that.
Travels back in tomorrow at noon. Are you going to make a motion to vacate?
Speaker McCarthy made an agreement with House conservatives in January. And since then, he has been in brazen, repeated material breach of that agreement. This agreement that he made with Democrats to really blow past a lot of the spending guardrails we'd set up is a last straw. And then overnight, I learned that Kevin McCarthy had a secret deal with Democrats on Ukraine. So as he was baiting Republicans to vote for a continuing resolution without Ukraine money.
Let me break this up, and then these clips can be kind of boring and monotonous, but I do want to go through it. Jessica Mai, long time no see, great friend of the show, had one of the, I always remember one of my favorite moments ever streaming with the first time, one of the first time Jessica Mai was in the chat. I think fair to describe as populist left. Jessica Mai says, shut it down, shut it all down. And but they're not going to. They did the continuing resolution. I don't think there's going to be any shutdown. I don't think there's going to be a shutdown ever. They're just going to keep doing the 45. Because this is going to be a political battle. And what I mean by that is just a media battle. So right now, they teamed up together, McCarthy and the Dems and the corporate Republicans. There's about 90 Republicans that didn't vote for it? There's 21 I know for sure that didn't. So I got to double check the numbers on that. But what the point is, it's the uniparty saying, this is their messaging now. We had to get together. The uniparty is now completely exposed. They're out there admitting it. Like, we're the uniparty. We're the normal ones. That's what they're selling. This was before, I might come back to this clip. But this was before, this is very pertinent. This was before the whole thing went down. I saw this. And this is Hakeem Jeffries. I'm looking for this tweet. I didn't have it saved here. But this is what they're trying to do. They are shifting the Overton window to frame people, and here it is. I do have it here. Let me go to a different clip. This is Hakeem Jeffries, and this is the messaging that they're going to do. It's been very effective. I didn't think it was going to work. The famous red sermon speech by Joe Biden, history tells us right now that it was effective. Believe it or not, it was an effective speech. Here's Hakeem Jeffries.
What you have in the House is that the extreme MAGA Republicans basically
I know it sounds goofy. I love how MAGA owns it. Like, oh, we're ultra MAGA or whatever, but it's effective.
What you have in the House is that the extreme MAGA Republicans basically on every issue, including issues that they previously agreed to and negotiated, are adopting a my way or the highway.
That's not true. That's a complete lie. See, what he's doing is trying to call any Republican that might think about going against this, MAGA, when we know there's like 5 or 6 real MAGA in the House. So he's trying to label not everyone, but he's trying to label anyone that's purple that might side with MAGA. Don't go over there. I'm going to call you MAGA. And it sounds goofy, but just yesterday I talked about, Tim Pool had a great clip where he talked about when you have a lot of numbers and data, that it can show patterns that you might not see otherwise. So these people I've got ChatGPT. What do you think they've got? Or their masters have? They have data that might show you, when you have a lot of data, when you have billions of data points, you might see trends that affect things that you would never have thought that it affected things. Like you could say, every time I go on TV and I say, it's raining outside, something happens. And me watching TV, I wouldn't know. Or you might say, every time I laugh like hee hee hee, it sounds goofy, but I get more viewers or something like that. So it's almost like they can analyze this data, and it might look goofy, this extreme MAGA Republicans. They might have data that shows it works. We don't have the data. So to me, it might and I thought that's goofy. That's stupid stuff right there. That ultra MAGA, extreme MAGA. But they might have data running on however they do it on polling or whatever, like real polling, scientifically sound polling that they have that they don't let other people have. like real studies and say, oh, every time we use extreme or MAGA, it does work. And then they release the polling that shows Trump's up 50 points. And maybe he's not really up 50 points. It's all a game. You can't trust these people. So I think they're saying this stuff. Don't assume it's not working. I would trust their data more than mine. I wouldn't think that it would work, but I'm reevaluating that now.
Approach, they are changing the terms of an agreement that is a matter of law at this moment.
Well, you've used that term before. I don't know how many. You said maybe there's 6 normal ones. You seem to say there's 6 normal and, I don't know, 250 extreme MAGA ones. And that's not the way it is. It's probably about 8 or 9 that fit that description, extreme MAGA. So
Joe, there's no point in this interview or at any other point in which I have actually commented on the number of Republicans who fall into a particular
but you can't prove them all.
So you see what happened here. This is fascinating. This is the battle now. Even though the government's not shut down, we're in the temporary funding, and we're going to be in the temporary funding period is heated. This whole time is going to be battle. This stuff is getting amped up.
I don't know, 250.
So this host here, I forget his name, but he's been on CNBC forever. And he's like, well, wait, you're labeling a lot of people extreme MAGA now. And he's like, there's only 8 or 9.
You've used that term before. I don't know how many. You said maybe there's 6 normal ones.
And you see how uncomfortable he is because he knows, like, whoa, am I testing Hakeem Jeffries? This is like Nancy Pelosi's henchman.
I don't know how many. You said maybe there's 6 normal ones.
You see his body language. That's why he's so uncomfortable. He's like, ooh, do I want to test him? He's like, yeah, I do need to ask him.
You've used that term before. I don't know how many. You said.
You all right, bro? You okay? You're getting a little fidgety. You play poker, you see tells. Why are you so uncomfortable, bro? Is something wrong? He looks like he needs to take a shit. Just all of a sudden. Real concerned about this question he's got to ask him.
You've used that term before. I don't know how many. You said maybe there's 6 normal ones. You seem to say there's 6 normal and, I don't know, 250 extreme MAGA ones. And that's not the way it is. It's probably about 8 or 9 that fit that.
And then you lose the discussion. What happens here is you lose the discussion. You and I lose the battle when that happens. That is him winning the battle. That is Hakeem Jeffries and these people winning the argument when they present it in that manner. And I have a tweet here describing it. You see how they win the argument by stretching the Overton window. Easy to see. Now the host is not arguing who the extremists are. The extremists aren't the ones who are trying to balance the budget. All of a sudden, the people who are trying to balance the budget and keep money away from gender studies in some other random country and all this is the omnibus stuff is what they're fighting against. Every year you come out and it's like, here's the omnibus, and then everybody looks, oh, look, there's this millions of dollars to study if the frogs are gay or to turn the frogs gay because I think Mother Nature needs gay frogs, or the study for this and study for that. And you're sending money over here and you're like, wait a second, Rand Paul does that every year. That's what they're trying to stop is the omnibus. That's what this is about. So we're not saying the extremists are the ones that take all these separate issues and put it into one bill of 5,000 pages. They wheel it out and nobody's read it. You don't even have enough time to go through it with AI, much less read it. And then they just sign it and move on with their day. Those are the extremists, but that's not the argument anymore. Now the host is saying, giving tacit agreement that MAGA are the extremists. That's how they win the argument. So now he's like, well, it's not 200 extremists. It's only like 8 or 9 extremists. So that's basically giving Hakeem Jeffries the argument that people who don't like this madness are the extremists. And they can calculate and see that. The extremists are the ones stealing our money, laundering it through a foreign country with a corrupt war that nobody approved and nobody wants. Hakeem Jeffries is the extremist. So instead of calling Hakeem Jeffries an extremist, he's like, oh, and he thinks this is courage. Instead of calling Hakeem Jeffries the extremist that he is, He's arguing, well, there's not as many extremists as you think.
How many? You said maybe there's 6 normal ones. You seem to say there's 6 normal, and
Yep, you lost the argument. Because the argument should be, you, sir, why are you not the extremist, Hakeem Jeffries? Why would you call them an extremist? Are you supporting wheelbarrowing out an omnibus package with 10,000 pages or whatever? It doesn't even matter after it gets to a certain point where people have hours to read it. You're the normal one? See, that's how you lose the argument. And that's what this battle is. So I support MAGA, but I'm just letting you know that's what we're up against. It's a good step forward. You have to take baby steps. I'm grateful to Matt Gaetz. He's putting his life on the line. No hyperbole. He's putting his life on the line.
The speakership, if he worked with Democrats to fund the government with a clean CR, clean government spending bill, which is exactly what he did on Friday and Saturday. The House gavels back in tomorrow at noon. Are you going to make a motion to vacate?
Steve, what's up?
Speaker McCarthy made an agreement with House conservatives in January. And since then, he has been in brazen, repeated material breach of that agreement. This agreement that he made with Democrats to really blow past a lot of the spending guardrails we'd set up is a last straw. And
so what they wanted to do was say, I think they wanted to say, if we're doing it in a continuing resolution, then we cut. That's what they wanted to do at the very least. But, I mean, they got no Ukraine money, but here later on, Matt Gaetz is going to say, it looks like there was a deal made on the Ukraine. Was that the $300 million or a different one?
then overnight I learned that Kevin McCarthy had a secret deal with Democrats on Ukraine. So as he was baiting Republicans to vote for a continuing resolution without Ukraine money, saying that we were going to jam the Senate on Ukraine, he then turns around and makes a secret deal. Now, I know you and I probably have different views on U.S. involvement in Ukraine, but however you think about that question, it should be subject to...
So well done by Matt Gaetz there. He's like, I don't want to argue about Ukraine. That's not what I'm trying to do here. No matter what you think about Ukraine, I think we should have a discussion about it, right?
Views on U.S. involvement in Ukraine, but however you think about that question, it should be subject to open review, analysis, and not some backroom deal.
So I do motion to vacate tomorrow?
I do intend to file a motion to vacate against Speaker McCarthy this week. I think we need to rip off the Band-Aid.
It takes time. Yeah, he said he's going to do it this week. I don't know why tomorrow is such a big thing. You know how much political work that Matt Gaetz is going to have to do here? He's the face of this thing. He's the one showing the courage. He's got to figure out what's the plan here. And I don't know how this works. To me, my understanding is we're back to when I didn't have a job and was able to stream live that was fun lives. I think that's when I was with Jessica May was on some of those where they were holding up the speaker vote. So I think it goes back to that. And you just keep voting and voting and voting until somebody gets the votes. That's my understanding. But Matt Gaetz can't do that if he doesn't know where everybody stands. He can't put himself out there if he doesn't know. Bobert, are you with me? Are you done getting felt up? Are you okay now? Are you with me? And he's trying to see who's on his side.
I think we need to move on with new leadership that can be trustworthy. Look,
who's the new leadership? Matt has a lot of work. He's doing a lot of heavy lifting. I will criticize people when they deserve to be criticized and praise people when they deserve to be praised. And Matt Gaetz deserves praise here. This is historic level of challenging the uniparty. I think this is completely legit. This is putting his life, his career, family, everything on the line. You don't think they have a dossier on this dude of anything he did from when he was a toddler up to now? And they might be flipping through it right now, seeing, well, okay, he's becoming a problem. Because no one else is coming out like this. He's going on Tim Pool for hours talking about this, breaking it down to normie. Well, Tim can get to normies, but not like Fox. But you know what I mean, spreading the word. It's becoming a problem. Allegedly running for governor, potentially, of Florida, which I fully support.
the one thing everybody has in common is that nobody
I think he wanted to get that out before Byron Donalds did, is what that leak was. Because Byron Donalds probably wanted to run for governor of Florida, too.
It's Kevin McCarthy. He lied to Biden. He lied to House conservatives. He had appropriators marking to a different number altogether.
You got to give Kevin McCarthy credits. What he's saying is behind the scenes, he was working with all these people. He's a sleazeball, weasel.
And the reason we were backed up against this shutdown politics is not a bug of the system, it's a feature. Kevin McCarthy's goal was to make multiple contradictory promises, to delay everything, back us up against shutdown politics, and at the end of the day, blow past the spending guardrails he'd agreed to.
So
Most important super chat of the day, $2. Jeff Costello says my butt smells.
how many Republicans do you think will be with you in your motion to vacate? Because obviously, for people at home who don't know, you need 218 votes to get him out of the speakership. You don't have 218 Republican votes. You're going to need Democrats. Let's start with the Republicans. How many Republicans do you have?
Well, enough so that when you host this show next week, if Kevin McCarthy is still the Speaker of the House, he will be serving at the pleasure of the Democrats. He will be working for the Democrats.
So what Matt Gaetz is saying there is he knows Kevin McCarthy plays this chess. So he's like, I'll work with, of course, corporate Democrats, Republicans. We'll do the continuing resolution. And McCarthy goes to them and says, well, I got a Matt Gaetz problem. So I'm not going to do a continuing resolution with y'all unless you tell me for sure you have my back when the Matt Gaetz problem kicks off next week. McCarthy probably already has a deal with them. That's what Matt Gaetz is saying here. He's saying he might still be speaker, but it's going to be by getting votes from Democrats. I guarantee you, there's no way McCarthy's going to go with the resolution. That's probably why McCarthy, now I'm thinking about it, that could be why McCarthy started the day saying, nah, no deal. Because they didn't guarantee to him that he would get the votes when they did the motion to vacate. So McCarthy's like, no deal. And he's probably like, hit me up when you guys got my back when the Matt Gaetz problem kicks off. Otherwise, it is no deal. So then they probably go, boop, 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 boop. All right, Kevin, we got your back when the Matt Gaetz stuff pops off. And then Kevin McCarthy puts the thing up. And then they find the stupidest black person in Congress to pull a fire alarm. What a day yesterday was.
This show next week, if Kevin McCarthy is still the Speaker of the House, he will be serving at the pleasure of the Democrats. He will be working for the Democrats. The only way Kevin McCarthy is Speaker of the House at the end of this coming week is if Democrats
Jeff
bail him out.
Costello, I appreciate you, man. On Sunday, I got to be out because I got to leave for my kids' football game in a little bit. Jeff Costello, $10 super chat. Love you, man. Love you too. Appreciate you.
Probably will. I actually think that when you believe in nothing, as Kevin McCarthy does, everything's negotiable.
Okay, but
and I think he'll cut a deal with the Democrats.
Let's be honest here, though, because if you succeed in vacating him, you also will have to make a deal with the Democrats. You also will have to get Democratic votes to kick him out.
Absolutely. I will make no deal with Democrats and concede no terms to them. I actually think Democrats should vote against.
My understanding is if enough people hold out, then there's just no speaker.
Speaker McCarthy for free. I don't think I should have to deal with
so
anything.
You're not going to cut any deals with him?
Absolutely not. And I don't think that any
I
Republican...
didn't watch this whole video, but the obvious question is if you're going to vacate him as speaker, who's the speaker? That's the problem. Even Byron Donalds has probably been too. He's a corporate guy. Reminds me of a young Tim Scott in a way. That's a compliment. But he's too MAGA friendly. I don't know who it could be. Jim Jordan is too MAGA friendly. I don't know who you could pick. At least whatever Stefanik or whatever her name is, maybe.
Republicans that share my view on Speaker McCarthy would cut deals with Democrats.
Don't think Matt Gaetz could be speaker. He's just too MAGA. He would never be able to be speaker.
Any Republicans that share my view on Speaker McCarthy would cut deals with Democrats. But here's the thing. I'm done owning Kevin McCarthy. Right? We made a deal at the end of in January.
And so what a great man. Matt has been very good. That's why you got to do these public speakings in 3 minutes, everything he laid out there is not easy to do. And he's wrapping this up saying, basically, I'm going to vacate. I know McCarthy made a deal already, but it's bigger than that. Right now, I own McCarthy because we held out and then we made a deal. I ain't owning it. No matter what happens with McCarthy, he ain't my own anymore. That's not my dude anymore. He never was, but you know what I mean. If Matt doesn't do this, he has to own no J6 footage, the deal, the money to Ukraine, the backstabbing, the continuing resolution, and he has to own that. And Matt's like, I ain't owning that anymore. That's for sure. So this is not a bluff. He's doing the motion to vacate. I guarantee you that.
But here's the thing. I'm done owning Kevin McCarthy. Right? We made a deal at the end of in January to allow him to assume the speakership, and I'm not owning him anymore because he doesn't tell the truth. And so if Democrats want to own Kevin McCarthy by bailing him out, I can't stop him, but then he'll be their speaker, not mine.
Ooh, what a day. I'm going to have to be out just to make sure I can get out of here. Oh, Steve Johnson, thank you. $10 super chat. Off topic. Ever thought about streaming with the YouTuber? Oh, that's that dude, man. LFR family. Much love to... man, that's a great channel. I would love to. I mean, that's see, when you're on YouTube, there's people at different levels. So, but I'd reach out. Yeah, that's a great channel. If you don't know LFR family, I think you two would be absolutely powerful together. It's one of my favorite channels. Should talk about that channel more. But thanks, Steve. I mean, that's high praise to even put me in the same name as that dude. I gotta get my marketing up. The thing that they have is. I say they, but channels that are that successful. And thanks for the $10 super chat as always. Steve Johnson, proud papa, newly proud papa. If you didn't know, give him some dap in the. How many hours sleep you going on, Steve? I might not be able to get the answer because I got to get out of here. But to even put me in that, and he's actually commenting on a couple of my videos, believe it or not. So much respect to LFR fam. So yep, thanks a lot, everybody. I'm gonna be out. And enjoy your Sunday. It's a positive. It's a great Sunday.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Steve Johnson said got about 5. That's a lot. That's more than I'm getting when I do those late night lives. I'm getting like 3 to 4 sometimes. That's why I can't do it every night. I know friend of the show, Cyan, was like, just do one topic so you can get in and get out. But it's just hard once you get rolling. But 5 hours of sleep, you're doing all right, Steve. When my kids were small, I used to do the late night shift. My wife would get up early, and she did the pumping, so I would have the bottles. And so we worked it out together. I think it's just something instinctually when you got a kid, you just figure it out. But I wish you the best, man, and thanks, everybody. Take care. I'm out.